Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Your city, your life, every day with Channel 4. Welcome to the show, Your City, Your Life. We will take you behind the scenes of the famous London Bridge Resort Hotel in Lake Havasu and introduce you to the general manager and new mayor of the city, Cal Sheehy. We'll hear all about the Gold State Carriage and the London Bridge with Jan Casey, as well as the history of Lake Havasu and its developer, Bill McCulloch, with a special aerial view of the city. Now let's meet the owner of the London Bridge Resort, Tom Flatley.
My name is Tom Flatley. I'm the owner of the London Bridge Resort here. I'm from the Philadelphia area. I do have a home in town and I spend an awful lot of time here. I purchased this property in 1984, so I guess you'd say I'm a local. And we employ about 250 people here. My background is when I graduated to St. Joe's University in Philadelphia, and then I got into the development business. I was developing shopping centers and medical office buildings, and I developed a medical office building in Las Vegas. And as fate would have it, I met a gentleman, and would I be interested in it? And I came down and I fell in love with this place because we're right here at the foot of the London Bridge. We have an English village. We're right here on the water. I have 57 dock slips, and I'm very, very proud to own it. The city has exploded. They now have, when I first came to town, I think I maybe had 27,000. There's now 50,000 strong. But that's permanent residents. In the busy time of year, they say on Memorial Day weekend, another 30,000, 40,000 people come to town. I'm on approximately 118 acres. It consists of a 3-story mall, this resort, convention center, and a golf course. Golf course is about 60 acres. And we're right along the channel here. This is called the Bridgewater Channel, which is the #1 tourist attraction in town. It goes under the bridge, it goes all the way out to the lake, and on a good busy weekend, you could walk across the boats in the channel. It's that busy. The resort was designed, it clearly was designed to have a English theme to it, as you can see from the turrets and the little chimneys and the whole design and the colors we painted. Obviously to complement the southwestern part of the country where we are, but it was always designed to have an English theme, and I think we achieved that. If you went to the back, I have two glass elevators, and they go up inside a turret, and that's all part of the English theme. So even when you're on the water looking up, it looks English. So I think it complements what it should be because we're right next to the London Bridge. It only made sense to me. Okay, we're over here now at the convention center. We're inside the wedding gazebo. I would say this is the #1 wedding location in town because look at the backdrop here. And it's at the back of the convention center. The convention center is the largest room in town, holds 400 or 500 people, and is very popular for weddings. To my right here is our golf course. It's a 9-hole executive golf course. It is right on the lake, and it has vistas of across the lake, California. So it's a magnificent piece of property. It was a wonderful night last night. We had a bit of an election party for my general manager, Cal Sheehy, and I'm so proud of him. He is now the mayor of Lake Havasu City. Cal is not only the general manager, but he's a very close friend of mine. He's been with me a long time. He will be inducted in November of this year, and I think he'll do a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job for the city.
Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Meet Cal Sheehy, Vice President and General Manager of the London Bridge Resort and the new mayor of Lake Havasu. Cal knew at a young age, in fact, as soon as he was old enough to work at a resort in his hometown of Traverse City, Michigan, that he had a passion for service and knew that his career would be in hospitality. As soon as his family moved the following year to Lake Havasu, Cal went to work for the London Bridge Resort, starting in housekeeping and working in every department, including front desk and food and beverage. After graduating high school, Cal headed for Daytona Beach, Florida, and worked at the Daytona Beach Regency, run by the same owner as the London Bridge Resort. He moved back to Havasu in 2004 and was named general manager of the London Bridge Resort. He met many challenges, especially during the recession, but he kept the property profitable, making many changes, one being opening Martini Bay, making the resort more accessible to the community. Cal oversees 250 employees who share his passion for making every guest stay special. His education in business marketing, he has an MBA for the University of Phoenix, has assisted him immensely in his work as the head of the resort and in serving as city councilman, which includes being involved in the Vision 2020, giving direction to the city and its projects. Cal is determined to return phone calls and emails, even if it's often after hours. Cal is or has been a member or chairman of just about every organization in town, including the Chamber of Commerce, Visitors Bureau, and Airport Board. In rare moments when Cal is not working at the London Bridge Resort or meeting with community organizations, he enjoys many outdoor activities that Lake Havasu is famous for, such as hiking, boating, and off-roading. Meet Cal Sheehy.
My name is Cal Sheehy, and I'm the Vice President and General Manager at London Bridge Resort in beautiful Lake Havasu City, Arizona. I've worked at London Bridge Resort for over 20 years. I started as a housekeeper in high school and kind of made my way through the ranks. Over the years, I've had positions at the front desk, reservations, reservation manager, front desk manager, food and beverage, banquets, and then eventually was promoted to a regional manager where I was setting up different resorts within our resort group. And finally in 2004, I was promoted to the Vice President and General Manager at London Bridge Resort. We have over 250 team members that make the opportunities happen here at London Bridge Resort. We're a 110-acre waterfront property. We start at the base of the world-famous London Bridge, and we go south to Rotary Park. We have a 9-hole executive golf course, retail specialty shopping, banquets and catering facilities, and over 12,000 square feet of banquets and catering facilities. We have Martini Bay Restaurant and Lounge, and Kokomo Havasu, which is an outdoor nightclub that's open seasonally. I originally moved to Lake Havasu City in 1995. It was my sophomore year of high school. My mom wanted to move somewhere warmer, so we headed west to one of the hottest places in the nation. Couldn't find anywhere warmer than Lake Havasu City, right on the shores of the Colorado River. In my off time, I enjoy outdoor recreation. So I like to boat, I like to off-road, I like to razor ride, hike, bike, all of the things that can happen outdoor. That's one of the unique things about Lake Havasu City, is that it's such an outdoor recreation enthusiast dream to be able to go out and enjoy the beautiful desert landscape. We're also very centrally located from a travel perspective, and being in the travel business, I really enjoy traveling. And so we're only about 3 hours away from the Phoenix Valley area, about 4 hours from the LA Basin, 2 hours from Las Vegas, 3 hours from Palm Springs, 3 hours to Sedona or the Grand Canyon. So we're very close to other areas of regional attraction. London Bridge Resort is located right at the base of the London Bridge. It was built in 1984. It was originally a 200-room property. Our owner has owned the property since 1986, Mr. Tom Flatley. He decided to convert the property to an all-suite property. That conversion started in the late 80s and was completed in the mid-90s. We now invite thousands of guests over each year to come celebrate their vacation and holidays here in Lake Havasu City. We offer full recreation programs, nightlife, restaurants, dining, event planning. We're a full-service resort that can meet the needs of any of our visitors that come to Lake Havasu City and enjoy their time at London Bridge Resort. I was very fortunate early on to know that I wanted to be in an industry that served, where we served people. And I was fortunate enough to enter into the restaurant business at 14 years old, and I bussed tables and did a variety of things, and I quickly learned that food and beverage wasn't my favorite calling, and converted over to the hotel side. When I converted over to the hotel side, I found an immediate love and passion for travel, people, hotels, and service. London Bridge Resort just recently completed a full renovation of all of our suites. Our suites now have new flooring, new cabinetry, new paint, and new decor. We're very excited about our new rooms that have launched in 2018. Our guests are giving us great feedback for the new appointments that we have in the rooms, and we're excited for them to be able to enjoy their new suites when they come visit us this year. We also have Martini Bay, which is our in-house restaurant and lounge. Martini Bay has beautiful food that will really entertain your taste buds and also make sure you have a great time while you're at Martini Bay. As mayor of Lake Havasu City, I want to have continued stable leadership. It's important that we have stable leadership in our community for our economy to continue to thrive. It's important that we create an environment that we can create jobs so that our residents can have good, well-paying jobs that they can continue to enjoy all the great recreation amenities that we have here in Lake Havasu City. I will continue to work to diversify our economy to ensure that we can create an environment where job creation happens. I will continue to champion Vision 2020, which is the citizen-led economic revitalization plan that was created in connection with the America's Best Community competition, where Lake Havasu City was a $2 million grand prize winner. I will also continue to have common sense leadership, and I will bring that to our city council, where we can continue to have conversations that are transparent and about our entire community. I believe we can do what's best for Lake Havasu City, and we can do that together through conversations and coming to the table and listening to all the different sides and coming up with a solution that serves not just one interest, but serves the entire community of Lake Havasu City. We have over 250 team members at London Bridge Resort, and we're assisting hundreds of guests. We have our safety team that is making sure all of our guests are safe and they can get around our property and then all of their questions are answered. We have our housekeeping team that has a really limited amount of time to turn our suites over. Our guests check out at 11 a.m. and we have guests that are ready to check in right away. So we have a really limited amount of time to get our suites prepared for our new guests that are coming in. But our team does a tremendous job making sure that all of the needs of our guests are met. Our front desk and reservations team ensure that our guests have everything they need prior to their arrival, as well as get checked in smoothly, can get up to their suite, and then any questions that they may have during their visit, we're available 24 hours a day to answer those questions. Our food and beverage team works really hard to make sure that our guests have the great food and beverage options that are available throughout our property. Whether it's our team at Kokomo having drinks and poolside beverages, or if it's Martini Bay serving great dinner and nightlife. We have everything that you need here at London Bridge Resort. Our maintenance team works really hard to make sure that our suites and property is well maintained. At any given time, something could go wrong, and we have a maintenance team member with a friendly face there to fix it.
My name is Myra Zarneski, and I'm the executive housekeeper at the London Bridge Resort. I also oversee janitorial and the laundry facility. We have 122 rooms. The checkout is 11. We check in at 4. So we have, 4 or 5 hours to get the rooms ready. So it is push comes to shove by 3 o'clock. We need the rooms. A 1-bedroom would take about 45 minutes to an hour. This particular room, which is considered a 2-bedroom suite, would take an hour and a half to 2. And a studio would take 45 minutes to an hour.
My name is Brad Chamberlain. I'm technically a painter, but we all kick in and do a lot of extra things. Nobody specializes in just one thing. We had a actual Playboy bunny staying in here in one of our rooms. And one of the things that she liked to do was light a bunch of candles in her bathroom while she's soaking in her tub. Well, that didn't go very well. We ended up having a fire, and it was a thing all of itself. But that's why I've been here for 26 years. You're not doing the same thing every day, which I couldn't do. I could never do it, but I have the utmost respect for the guys that go on the roof and fix the air conditionings in 120 degrees in the tubs upstairs, where they'll just forget about it or fall asleep in the tub. Who does that? I don't know. Some people do. And it just overflows, and where's the water going to go? Down. Gravity. So now we have the person underneath affected by that. It's like you got to start scrambling real fast. The very number one thing that really keeps me here is the people, because you get the opportunity to make their vacation just a little bit better, because you see the kids and they're having a ball with the slide and the pools and all the activities that the resort does give them to do. You just get to be a part of that, and it really makes you feel good. And the other thing is the people that I work with. They're like family. In fact, today, believe it or not, is my 61st birthday. And a lot of people will take that day off, but I think it's you spend it with your family, which is here. You know, I do have family, and I'll see them when I'm done. But that's just the kind of atmosphere that we like to promote, and everybody gels as a team, and it does reflect on the experience that you have here at the London Bridge Resort. I just can't say enough about it.
My name is Janet Allen. I'm the manager of Bridgewater Links here at London Bridge Resort. I've worked here for 24 years, not managing the golf course, but I have done that for several years. We are a par 3-4 executive 9-hole course, and it's really fun to play. Last night we had our first Glow Golf night, which was successful, and everybody had a good time. We're going to do it again. Mostly snowbirds come here and play in the winter. So hot in the summer, we just have a few in the morning. But winter time is our season. We open in the summer at 6 and close at 12 noon. In the winter time, it depends on the sun. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, close at 4, then it starts getting dark. It takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to play around. It's a great place to play. Fun golf course.
Hi, my name is Douglas Bryson. I'm Chief of Security at London Bridge Resort here in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. I've been working at London Bridge Resort for a total of 17 plus years. I have a hotel security crew of approximately upwards to 12 to 16. They wear that customer service hat first and that security hat second, being in the hospitality business. A wide array of kids from all over the United States that come here as an ultimate spring break destination, and they can get pretty wild, but that's to be expected, I guess, with spring break. But they always have a good time, and we always make sure that they're getting back to where they need to be at night safely so they can do it all over again the next day. So then of course we have our holiday weekends. Memorial weekend probably being our, let's call it the Super Bowl holiday weekends, because it's our largest weekend of the year. And once again, that's always a challenge, but it's a lot of fun. On a busy weekend or a holiday weekend, we actually have security staff posted at the gates where we have metal detectors that they walk through, and we're responsible for making sure that nobody's bringing weapons of any sort. You know, we do have entertainment that comes in. Celebrities. Do we have some that are not here to entertain us at all? They just come in and want to get away from everything. We got Cedric Savalas, famous basketball player years ago. Ice-T, we have Little John, Tech 9. Okay, just recently we had Chanel West Coast come here and perform, and we did security for her the whole time she was here. This job is just a wonderful job. I think one of the most unique things about working in the London Bridge Resort is the people. It's like a big family. The owner of the resort treats everybody on a personal level almost, and along with all the management.
My name is Paul. Most people call me Senior. I'm a supervisor for the security here. Every day we deal with everything from just customer service to helping people, to domestic violence, to fighting, to basically anything. I mean, it's a lot of customer service and helping people. I'm kind of known as the guy that walks around with suckers, and I give all the kids little lollipops and stuff like, because I'm a grandpa, so it's kind of a weak spot for me, you know. But we have our days where sometimes it gets rough here, and we have certain clientele that are not so pleasant and nice, and sometimes we have to detain them and have the police pick them up and stuff like that. But on a whole, it's a small percentage. About 1% of people don't comply, but everybody else is just here to have fun. We get some people theft of service. It's not too common. We have a good reputation here, and we like everybody that comes here. But if you mess up and you break the rules or you break the law, you're going to pay for it. You got to man up, just simple as that. We've had, on occasions, people naked in our fountain right here over my shoulder. We got a 9-hole golf course. We have 110 acres here, 122 rooms. I think tonight we got about 8 guys. Plus we have 4 more in Martini Bay as security. And then down in Kokomo's there's even more. So, you know, give or take 20 people probably. is just a volleyball pool. It's only so deep. They usually have like a ramp go across it so people can dance on it under the waterfall. And then they'll project on the screen some kind of music video or something like that. But it's just a good place to go in the desert.
Look inside, you'll find a deeper love.
These are cell phone lockers, so you can charge your cell phone and put it in there for hours on end. You pay for it for like the day.
Senior sees something and gives orders to one of his safety staff members to take care of the problem. That night, everything went smoothly, as is the case most of the time.
Hi everyone, my name is Joelle. I'm the Director of Fun here at the London Bridge Resort. And when people come to Lake Havasu City, they come here to have fun. So today we're here at the afternoon tea. We also host a variety of crafting classes, including wine glass etching, metal charm stamping, bracelet beading, and our canvas and cocktails class, where our guests can create their own masterpiece with a little bit of instruction and a lot of fun. So we look forward to seeing you.
Now, we'll hear all about the Gold State Carriage with Cal Sheehy.
This is a replica of the Gold State Coach from the Queen of England. It was given to Robert McCulloch, the founder of Lake Havasu City, as a gift when Robert McCulloch purchased the London Bridge. It was located down at the museum near the London Bridge until the London Bridge Resort was built. And then the lobby was built around this Gold State Carriage in 1984, and it's resided here ever since.
Residing in the lobby of London Bridge Resort in Lake Havasu, Arizona, lives the full-scale replica Gold Stagecoach. Artist and sculptor Steve Smithwick, a London artist, is responsible for the carriage. Smithwick is the owner of Steve Smithwick Scenery Limited in London, and his company designs special effects and sets for clients such as Snickers, Green Giant, and Mountain Dew. In 1978, Smithwick spent 3 months on the gold carriage, replicating the original carriage used in every coronation of the British monarchy since George IV, including Queen Elizabeth II's coronation in 1953. The replica took 6 months to build, with 10 to 12 people working full-time on the project. The frame and wheels are constructed of steel, the body made of fiberglass, and all pieces are finished in gold gliding paint. Smithwick's friend, Nick Pemberton, created the oil painting on the sides of the coach, mimicking the original panels that were done by Florentine painter Giovanni Battista. Replicating the coronation carriage required obtaining express permission from the royal family, which was approved, allowing Smithwick to take on the project. Thrillingly, this entailed getting up close and personal with the real royal coach, inside and out. In his mid-20s, Smithwick was given full access to the historical carriage, which had only been touched by carriage caretakers. He was also given access to uniforms worn by attendants and the 8-horse team of Windsor Greys that pull the carriage. After the project was finished and the showing in London was done, the carriage replica, horses, and attendants were purchased for $2,500 by Lauren Pratt from the Daily Mail. The replica would be the centerpiece for the Kings and Queens Museum in Lake Havasu, Arizona. In September 1978, the coach replica was sliced in half, crated, and shipped to New York from London. From New York, the carriage was trucked to Lake Havasu. Smithwick was hired and flown to Havasu from London to reassemble the coach for the museum, which meant he waited 3 weeks in Havasu for it to arrive. Upon arrival, Smithwick spent another 3 months in the Havasu heat putting the carriage back together from September through November. Pratt's museum lasted only 1 year, in which it closed, and in its place a candle shop was opened. However, when the London Bridge Resort was built in 1984, the carriage was moved to its hotel lobby, where it still remains today. Still, some pieces are missing, which are the replica horses and people included in the original piece. Smithwick stated the replica horses and attendants were shipped to Havasu and placed in the initial installation, but after the closing of Pratt's museum, the location of those missing items are a mystery. The replica in the lobby of the London Bridge Resort is the only known replica of the original coach. Join us for a chat with Jan Cassis, Director of Lake Havasu City's Visitor Services.
Hi, my name is Jan Cassis. I live in Lake Havasu City, and of course I have not been here all the time. I was born in the Netherlands. I moved to the United States. I married an American woman. We're still married. And after 1 year living in Columbus, Ohio, we moved to Lake Havasu City. Why Lake Havasu City? Well, that was easy. First of all, we wanted good weather. We don't like snow. We like a safe city. We want a city with low taxes. Well, we found it. We came down here. We checked the whole Colorado River. We have been in Yuma, in Blythe, in Needles, in Kingman, in Bullhead, in Laughlin. Nothing is better than Lake Havasu City because it has a lake. There's a lot to do, a lot of activities. Everything you need is here. If you want to go to a big city, easy. LA, Vegas, Phoenix, it's all close. There was a job available and it was the job of visitor center manager. I thought, I would like that because I've been retired and being retired is so boring. I had to do something different. So I applied for the job, I got it. And ever since I'm taking care of what happens in the visitor center. Then we got the opportunity from Virtual Realty Enterprises. They own the English Village. And they said, why don't you go in that empty building that was the pub? So after a few months we moved over and we got that huge visitor center compared to what we had before. It was a big room. My CEO then said, well, this is too big, you never fill this up. It's hardly, I said, just wait and see. We made a little gift shop. There's a little living room where people can sit to watch a movie or check their email. We have a little exposition about lighthouses. They can buy a drink. We have all kinds of brochures and all kinds of little things they can look at. And the only way I can run this visitor center is because I have 31 volunteers. They come in every morning and every afternoon. Most of them once a week, some twice a week. They do it. I'm just behind the scenes, getting everything ready and ordering stuff, but they do it. You get a lot of people here, about 100,000 a year. You can't imagine which countries. I keep track of it. Of course, most of them are from the United States. The next country is Canada. The next one is, I think, China, then Great Britain, Germany, and the rest all Western Europe. I'm still surprised that we get so many people because 5-6 years ago when the smartphones came up, we all thought, okay, that's not good for a visitor center because people have a smartphone, they can find everything on their phone. The amount of people hasn't changed. A smartphone is a good thing if you know exactly what you're looking for. But if you don't know what you're looking for, you need a person in front of you that tells you, oh, when you're in Havasu, you could do this, could do that. That's why we need a visitor center. One of the things we do here is a history walking tour. We go 3 times a week on Tuesday Thursday and Saturday. At 11 o'clock we started walking.
Sue and Peter Civillo from Tucson, Arizona. We've been coming to Havasu for about 6 years now. This is our second year coming in the visitor center. Very informative, especially about the history of the bridge and the history about Lake Havasu. But it's a great place to relax. It really, really is.
The history of the London Bridge. Let's go on a tour of the London Bridge with the Director of Visitor Services.
This is a special gate. And if you look at the top, you see the year 1862. Then you know right away this is not from Lake Havasu. In 1862 there was no Lake Havasu. It was just desert. In the distance you saw the Colorado River, no lake. The Chemehuevi Indians lived on the river, but that was pretty much it. This beautiful gate is from Whitley Court. And Whitley Court is in England, in Worcestershire. The Lord of Dudley, who owned the court, Whitley Court, wanted to Italianate his court. It was a dull English looking court. He wanted to Italianate it, so he built wonderful gates, wonderful fences, lawns, fountains, pillars on his castle. And in 1862 everything was said and done, and it was opened again. But to make a long story short, in 1938 the castle burned down. The walls stayed, but after that it deteriorated. And in the end of the 60s, McCulloch bought it and brought it over to Lake Havasu. He thought it would look very nice with the bridge, and he's right, although it has nothing to do with the bridge. If you look beyond it, it's a wonderful view. The first two things you see are the pedestals with the dragons on it. If you go into the city of London, you always go by the dragons. They are everywhere there. And they hold the coat of arms of the city of London, the red cross with the sword on it. But if you go beyond these ones, that ain't no London.
No.
Right? But once upon a time it was owned by the city of London. When McCulloch dedicated his bridge, he gave 1 acre of land to the city of London. The city of London built the pub on it, that's where the visitor center is right now, and they rented it out to people in Lake Havasu. If you look beyond that, you see our fountain. Guess where's our fountain from?
London.
London. It's a wonderful guess, but it's totally wrong. The stones are from Mexico. It's built in 1996. It mimics the fountain on Trafalgar Square. Water in the middle, lines around it. Well, if you go here at night, it's beautiful because the fountain is lit. It looks majestic. What you see here is what you would have seen in London before 1968. If you look at the top, you see the swallow nests. The swallows are here. I knew it already because it's a little wide under the bridge. When you're here at night, you will see the bats. We have bats in the bridge because this bridge is hollow. In London it was a massive bridge, but when McCulloch bought it, he left the inside in London and he brought the outside over.
Why?
Because that was too expensive to bring everything over, and he made first a concrete structure. If you look at that first pier, I've seen pictures of it, it's totally concrete and just the part of the stones are glued on it. So the whole bridge is a facade. If you look up, this bridge was smaller. It was not as wide. And in the beginning of the 1900s they made it wider and put these corbels up there. Before that we didn't have these wonderful balusters. Before there was just a wall. But when they improved it, they made these wonderful balusters on it. This bridge was not the first bridge in London. The first bridge is made by the Romans in the year 45, long time ago. London was founded by the Romans, and they called it Londinium. And they built a bridge in a fording in the River Thames. In summer you could walk through it, but in winter you couldn't. There was too much water in it. The first stone bridge was dedicated in the year 1209. You wouldn't have liked it, because we like symmetry in bridges, at least I do. The arches have to be the same. In those days they didn't care so much about it, so the first arch was different from the second, and the second different from the third. And there were 19 arches over the same width of the river. So you can see how narrow these arches were. The piers were even wider than this one. So between the piers was not much space, so there was very often a very heavy current. It was very dangerous to go under the bridge. It often happened that when the boat came from that side, the people got off the boat, walked along the Thames, and if the boat made it, they went on the boat again. The bridge was not just a bridge, there were houses on the bridge. Wooden houses up till 7 stories high. And in between was a narrow road, 12 feet wide. At the first floor were most of the time shops. You can imagine how much trouble that gave when that carriage came up, loaded stuff, unloaded stuff. The other ones were waiting. I don't know many medieval curses, but I think they have said a lot of them. It was a lot of trouble. And in the medieval times they didn't drive on the left or the right side of the road. They had no idea. They drove wherever they want to drive. So at a certain time the Lord Mayor said, well, what we have to do, if you go across the bridge, you stay on the left side, the left-hand side. Well, after a lot of trouble, people did that, and we believe that's why the British are driving on the left-hand side of the road. It started on London Bridge. Yeah, and they still believe it's the right side. Well, a bridge with houses, wooden houses, open fires, candles, had a lot of fires, of course. Some of them jumped into the water, so they couldn't swim, but there were a lot of boats around it to help. But there were so many people that the boat sank again. That day, 3,000 people were killed. Wow. So it was a very, very bad day for London. There have been many more fires, but this is the worst one. The bridge had 2 gates, one on the countryside and one on the city side. So at night they closed it, and it was pretty safe because the Middle Ages were dangerous times. The gate on the countryside had stakes on it, and on the stakes were the heads of the beheaded criminals. It wasn't that bad, but because they put them first in tar, so it didn't stink too much. There's a guy from Germany who wrote in his book that he had seen 31 heads on the bridge. Not only criminals were up there. The first one, by the way, was Braveheart, John Wallace. He was dismembered, and his arms and legs were sent to the 4 corners of the country, and his head was on London Bridge. But not only criminals, Cromwell was beheaded too, and Thomas More. About the 1600s they stopped that gruesome thing. At the end of the 1700s the bridge fell pretty much down. Arches collapsed and they built it up again, and so they knew they had to build a new bridge. Well, the bridge couldn't help it, built in 1200 until 1700, that's a long time. So the City of London came up with a new bridge. They had a contest for architects, and John Rennie, the architect, won the contest, and this bridge is called too the Rennie Bridge. This bridge was dedicated in 1831, and it's made of granite, and granite is hard as granite. This granite came from a quarry in Devon, Dartmoor. It was called Haytor Quarry. They opened the quarry in 1820. When the plans were done for the bridge, they needed the granite. I think it's an amazing story. The first guy who came up had an iron drill, this size, with an iron ball on here. He went to the quarry and he started pounding. They called that thing a jumper. I think it jumped back. He made a hole 2 inches deep. Then 6 inches apart, another hole, another hole, another hole. When that was done, they put feathers in it. not feathers from birds, but two iron things, this shape, this one, and another one this shape. They put it in the holes, and after that they put wedges on it. And then they started pounding until the rock split. Well, a rock is just like a human, it doesn't do what you want it to do. The rock split in a certain way, the natural way. And after that, they had to chisel it. If you think about that, those people did that. This whole bridge is made like this, by hand, by people in a quarry. Well, I believe their housing was not that great. Maybe they had 12 children, 4 survived. When they got something on their leg or they were hurt, it's over. We often talk about the good old times. These were not good old times. And even if you think a little beyond that, this bridge was made by hand, but Buckingham Palace too. And all the buildings in Paris, and the buildings in Rome, and the pyramids in South America and in Mexico. And I don't even talk about the Chinese wall. All by hand, by people. That must have been a lot of suffering. I want to tell you how they took these big blocks out of here. Because the quarry is always lower than the surroundings. So they made big lorries with wide wheels, and they had made a granite railroad out of the quarry. They had hand cranes, so they put the blocks on the lorry, 12 horses in front of it. They pulled it out of the quarry, and at the top the horses went away and gravity took over. They went down 18 miles to a little channel, to a little harbor. But the lorries didn't have brakes, so the guys were standing there with poles to brake it a little bit every now and then. At the end, they took it again with cranes on barges, and they went along the British coastline, along the Atlantic, through the Channel to London. In London they built caissons, and that's where they built the bridge. By only building the bridge, 27 people died. Well, the old bridge, when they built that one, over 700 people died while building. So talk about people. If you talk about people, and you think about all these people who walked across the bridge, well, the 3,000 who were killed by the fire, all the people who committed suicide from the bridge. Even Jack the Ripper must have walked across the bridge, although they never got him, but he lived in that area. There is a lot of history connected to a bridge, to a building, but this bridge especially. This is the most interesting part of the bridge, at least I think it is. It came with the bridge, and here it says T. Potter and Sons, South Moulton Street West. The bridge was dedicated in 1831. In 1815, Napoleon escaped from Elba. He wanted his army behind him, and he wanted to be emperor again. He met the British army in Waterloo, in Belgium, and there was the Battle of Waterloo. Well, Napoleon found his Waterloo because he lost. He was taken prisoner again, and they sent him to St. Helena, somewhere in the Atlantic. The Duke of Wellington, the general of the British Army, took all Napoleon's cannons and brought them over to England. And in England they melted the cannons and made them into streetlights. So this streetlight was once upon a time a cannon of Napoleon. I think Napoleon must have loved it. His cannons in Lake Havasu City, don't you think so? You see on the left hand side another lighthouse, and from the lighthouse till here was land too, when the bridge wasn't here. So this is our peninsula. If you look beyond that, you see Thompson Bay. Thompson Bay is part of the lake. There was a problem with Thompson Bay before the bridge was here and before the channel was here. Thompson Bay became stagnant because the riverbed is against California. So the fresh water goes by Thompson Bay and doesn't go into it. So McCulloch was, even before he knew about the bridge, already talking about a channel. He wanted a channel because he wanted to, Thompson Bay to get fresh water. If you make a channel, the water from the Colorado River goes through it. Then London Bridge came up. So McCulloch was not that stupid that he bought a bridge he needed a bridge for his channel. Well, and if you have some money, you can go a little beyond and do something nice. So that's why he bought London Bridge. And I think this is one of the best things he has ever done. Buy the bridge, put it in here, because I believe still the bridge made Lake Havasu. Otherwise we would have been a small town, but almost everybody in America knows about London Bridge. This is something they do in Italy and in France. When two people like each other a lot and they want to stay together forever, they buy a lock, put it on the bridge, and they throw the keys in the river, because it says this lock cannot be unlocked. We want to stay together. When I told you that this bridge was made of granite, you probably thought this is not my countertop. If we sand this, then it looks like this. And McCulloch was a smart guy, because when he bought the bridge, he left the inside in London. And he sold the inside to people who make headstones and countertops. And he got his money back. $2.5 million. And when he bought the bridge, he became very famous in all the United States. His stocks went up and he got his money back another time. There you see. McCulloch is our great hero. We have a statue. This is McCulloch. A bridge is always about people. It's always about people.
Now the story of the man who created Lake Havasu and brought the famous London Bridge to Lake Havasu City.
In 1958, industrialist Robert McCulloch was in the hunt for a testing facility for his outboard motor company. Flying over, McCulloch spotted Site 6, landed, and within 3 days struck a deal to buy the surrounding land for $300,000. In 1959, McCulloch hit upon a plan to move his manufacturing facilities from expensive Southern California and create a new community, Lake Havasu City. Engineer and colleague C.V. Wood was a bit skeptical at first. Creating a town out of raw desert? It seemed far-fetched to Wood at first, but as he crunched the numbers, it began to make sense. Wood, one of the geniuses that helped create Disneyland, put his design expertise to work on McCulloch's dream. By 1964, what we would recognize as Lake Havasu City began to take shape. 2 years later, 1,000 people called Lake Havasu City home. 50 miles of pavement was down and utilities were in place. The first school in 1964. A year later, the first church. Also by 66, McCulloch had established his own airline, a fleet of planes to bring prospective buyers to this burgeoning oasis in the desert. More than 130,000 people flew in for a look. Many bought home sites to relocate or for future retirement homes. Where people come, business follows. Shops, offices, medical facilities sprouted up in the McCulloch Boulevard corridor. And that was just the beginning. The relocation of McCulloch's chainsaw manufacturing plant to Lake Havasu brought good-paying jobs and job seekers. Other plants and employers followed McCulloch. At one point, McCulloch developed a gyroplane, hoping to create a market for personal aircraft, one of the few dreams that went unrealized. As word spread, homes began to creep ever further into the foothills and beyond. But McCulloch wasn't satisfied to create a new community from raw desert. By 1968, he was looking for an icon, a centerpiece to his creation. On a trip to New York City, C.V. Wood learned that the London Bridge was for sale. The 130-year-old span was falling victim to modern traffic demands. What was an architectural wonder in the 1830s was antiquated and obsolete in the bustle of 1960s London traffic. Modern loads were literally driving the bridge into the mud of the Thames River. March 23, 1968, Robert McCulloch bought the bridge for $2.4 million. By July 4th, the first of hundreds of carefully marked and coated granite blocks arrived in Long Beach, California. July 9th, the first of the stones arrived in Lake Havasu at the base of the Pittsburgh Peninsula. Late that same year, the cornerstone was laid in ceremonies attended by the Lord Mayor of London, Sir Gilbert Inglefield. work began in earnest to give birth to the new London Bridge. 33,000 tons of blocks were carefully fitted together, using the desert itself to provide a construction platform. Then later, 2 million cubic yards of earth were removed to create a bed for the soon-to-become Bridgewater Channel. By 1971, the work was done. The London Bridge was now at home in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Millions of people have visited this transplanted landmark. Tens of thousands have made Lake Havasu City their home, too.
Thanks to Robert Paxton McCulloch. For more information about Lake Havasu City, please visit golakehavasu.com. This movie is also available for purchase at the Lake Havasu Convention and Visitor Bureau.